In this session, we're going to focus on belly breathing and diaphragmatic breathing, followed by the yogic breath, the full yogic breath, followed by yogic rhythmic breathing. We're going to use the Ujjayi breath while doing the other practices. So this session builds upon the previous session, so if you haven't watched the video on Ujjayi breathing, please do so now. Because while focusing on the different breathing techniques that we're using now that are focused on the direction of our breath, so it's different parts of our torso that we're going to breathe into, we're going to do this while holding the Ujjayi breath in our throat. The first part, as I already mentioned, is the belly or the diaphragmatic breathing. So for this part, you can lie down on your mat. Have your legs slightly bent, maybe on a 90-degree angle, maybe a little bit closer, whatever feels comfortable for you. Try to make sure that your lower back is also touching the floor, that you're not hiked up, but really comfortable with the lower back down. Shoulders relaxed, the head in line with the spine, maybe the chin slightly tucked so your neck is a little bit elongated. And you can put both your hands on your belly button. Close your eyes for a moment and just become aware of your normal breath. Observe where the breath is flowing. If you can feel it more in your chest, in your shoulders, or more in your belly. If your breath is more shallow or rather deep. Just become aware of your breath. Don't try to alter it. Just let it be. Now let's engage our Ujjayi breathing. Establish more control over the flow of prana, of our breath through the body. Feel how your breath is becoming deeper and slower. And this next part, we're going to focus on belly and diaphragmatic breathing. So again, make sure your hands are lying on your belly button, around your belly. And try to direct your breath now into your hands by pressing your hands upwards with your stomach, with your belly. So you breathe in, and your abdomen is really rising, the hands are coming up. Hold the breath in at the maximum and slowly breathe out again. Belly is falling, hands are falling. And I'll do this a few times, this belly breathing. Inhale, only the belly is rising. And exhale, the belly is falling. Stay in control of the flow with your Ujjayi breathing. And really feel how there's no other movement in your chest or shoulders and only your belly. And really feel the calming effects of the combination of the belly breathing and Ujjayi breathing. This is a very calm kind of breathing, which we can also practice in every life situation. Just focusing on deep belly breathing with Ujjayi. And there is a very subtle difference between belly breathing and strong diaphragmatic breathing. Even though the diaphragm is engaged now while breathing deep into our belly, we can engage the diaphragm even a little bit more and getting more prana, more in with every breath. And we do this now by ever so slightly engaging our core muscles. This does not mean that we have to flex our abs. We're still lying straight on the floor, but we're engaging a very slight tension in our belly. When you now press your thumb and your fingers into your belly, there should be a very slight engagement. Just that there is an activation. And with this activation around your core, around your rib cage, again try to focus on breathing deep into your belly. You maybe feel now how also your rib cage is ever so slightly expanding from the lower range to the mid range. Keeping your Ujjayi, remaining in control of the flow of your breath. And as the diaphragm is this dome-shaped muscle that when we inhale pulls itself downwards, creating more space for the lungs. We're therefore really expanding our belly, but also the lower part and the middle part of the rib cage. Observe how your breath maybe can become even deeper now. Observe how with this activation of the core, you can even feel an expansion in your side body now. And maybe even in your lower back. As the diaphragm is a very strong muscle and also a postural muscle that is engaged also when carrying heavy weights. When used properly for breathing, it can really expand our whole belly and the torso and complete in all in a 360-degree fashion. Continue this very deep breathing. And the diaphragm needs this very slight counter pressure of the core, of the deep core, in order to get this expansion. Because without this counter pressure, it cannot properly bulge out downwards and therefore create this suction movement for the lungs. And you'll feel that this breath is already a lot deeper than before. From this diaphragmatic breathing, we're now going to establish the full yogic breath, which is even deeper than before. So the first step of this would be breathing deeply diaphragmatically into our lower belly. And when we feel our air is completely expanded, our belly is completely expanded, we try to expand our chest even wider by pulling the belly button slightly in again and then expanding the chest. So now we breathe into the middle range of the lungs, expanding the chest really wide. When we feel full expansion here, pulling the breath even higher into the clavicles. So we have this three part of the breath. The first part, breathe with me now, breathing into the lower belly with the diaphragm engaged. Very nice, and exhale. The second part, now only breathe into your chest. Put your hands left and right onto your chest, on your rib cage, and only try to expand your rib cage now to the sides and to the front. This is the second part. Feel the expansion, and slowly exhale again. And the last part is the clavicular breathing, breathing all the way into the upper chest. Put your hands into your upper chest and try to expand the upper chest. Really feel how the clavicles are rising up, feel how the shoulders are rising towards the ears. This is the highest form of breathing. And at the same time, the most ineffective. Breathe out, as it only engages the tips of the lungs and the upper part. And the full yogic breath, we're trying to combine all these 3 steps. Initially, it may feel like 3 steps, engaging the belly, then the chest, and then the clavicles, the upper part. But in the long run, it will be like a smooth motion, like a wave coming up, holding for a second, observing the full breath, and exhaling again from the top down, first the top, then the chest, then the belly in. So it's this very 3-part that comes into a wave-like motion after some practice. So let's practice this together. Left hand onto your belly button, right hand onto your chest and the sternum. Engage Ujjayi breathing to have more control over your breath and maintain this calm state. Let's exhale together and inhale into the lower belly. Full expansion. Engage the ribs now. Broaden the chest. Pull the breath higher. Inhale even higher into the upper chest. And then the upper chest collapses, middle chest, and at the last part, the belly button falls. Inhale, lower belly. Inhale, further chest. Inhale, further upper chest. Hold. And exhale, upper chest, middle part of the chest, lower belly. Now do this in your own time, in your own breathing rhythm. With every round, try to make the breath smoother, round the edges from the different parts, and making it one wave-like motion with an intermittent stop at the beginning and the end of the process of inhalation and exhalation, feeling the air in the lungs either full or empty, until you continue very smooth with the wave of your breath. The yogic breathing is a very complete breath, using all parts of your lungs, the lower part, the mid part, and all the way the upper tips of the lungs. And it's the way to get the most air and the most prana into your body. It's at the same time calming, but also invigorating and balancing. It really gives you mental clarity. You can really oxygenate every cell and fill every cell of your body with proper prana. And this type of breathing cannot be practiced every time, all the time, but it's a very good practice to come back to from time to time. Take a couple of full yogic breaths here and there throughout your day. As a last step to this, we're going to add the rhythmic breathing, the yogic rhythmic breathing. So I invite you now to take your radial pulse. You do this by taking your hand around your wrist and feel at the side where your thumb is with your index and middle finger, your radial pulse. Close your eyes. Become aware of your pulse. Familiarize yourself with your pulse, as this is the rhythm of your personal life. And in yogic rhythmic breathing, we're trying to breathe with the rhythm of your own life. And so we breathe to the rhythm of our hearts. When you're secure in feeling your pulse properly, you can rest your hand on your chest while still engaging your radial pulse, but still feeling your radial pulse. If you're very sensitive and you can feel your pulse in your chest, or your heart beating in your chest without needing to take the pulse, you can just relax your hands again on your chest and belly. What we're going to try to do now is make the inhalation for 6 heartbeats, then hold for 3 heartbeats, exhale for 6 heartbeats, hold for 3 heartbeats. This is one cycle. We're breathing, and you're breathing to the rhythm of your own heart. So engage your Ujjayi breathing. And now full yogic breath, 3 parts. Inhale for 6 heartbeats. Hold for 3 heartbeats. Exhale for 6 heartbeats. And then hold again for 3 heartbeats. Let your rhythm flow to your own heart. And feel this deep connection it creates with yourself. How you can fluidly adapt your breath to the changing beat of your heart. And maybe you can observe that on the exhalation, your heart beats ever so slightly slower. And on the inhalation, your heart beating a little bit faster. Such as the normal flow of life. Try to make the breath as round as possible. Try to remove the edges of the 3-part breathing. Make it one fluid wave-like motion, while properly engaging the diaphragm with a slight activation of your core. Feeling the expansion of your chest in a 360-degree way. Not only breathing in the front, but also in the sides and in the back. While focusing on the beat of your heart. Yogic rhythmic breathing is a fantastic practice to really connect with yourself, to really pull into the present moment, and it is your very personal breath, suited perfectly for just you. feel free to stay here and practice the yogic rhythmic breathing for as long as you wish. And I'll see you in the next session. Namaste.